This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 926. I am Brian Kilby. Radio Free Cybertron's the world's first and oldest toy and action figure podcast since 1999. And man, I'm feeling old this week. Like, I have been looking at, so back with like the Transmasters, we remember the Transmasters like from the 90s, right? Don, were you a member?
No, I knew of them, but I was not a member.
So their zine, what was it, Auto Update? So there's a Facebook group about Auto Update, like posting, and there's the Transmasters website has scans as well. But Rob Springer turned me on to reading the zines from the 90s, and I'm so nostalgic for that. I just barely missed the zine scene. And like, I wish that I was a part of it. John, were you a part of the zine scene?
No, I was not. I was also aware of it, but I was not.
Diecast was not. I know Diecast wasn't part of the fandom until like 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Nah, what, 20 years ago? Which is like 5 minutes now. Matt, were you a part of that?
No, I didn't get into the fandom until 2011-ish.
Chris?
Aware at a distance.
Yeah. Rob, you weren't either. You were part of the, like, was there a Gundam zine scene?
If so, actually, absolutely, I'm sure there was, but it...
In Japan.
In Japan, probably here too, but it definitely predates my involvement in, like, anime fandom in general.
Yeah. I'm not going to call it a blind spot because I was a subscriber to at least one digital one that Rose Tercy put out briefly. Not that Rose did it briefly. I was a member of it like right at the tail end, but yeah, that was some fun stuff that I wish I'd missed. Like in a way, Radio Free Cybertron is like the direct descendant almost of the zines because we were like an audio version of it. If you go back and read it, like it was. There was some news, but just talking about the fandom, which we did a lot of with John's ATT Buzz. They always insert comedy in, and I had like the comedy sections or comedy bits, and then sometimes they just went crazy, like some of the episodes that I would do back in the day where I just went off the rails. I feel like if I had been part of the fandom 10 years earlier, I would have been doing a zine. So
yeah, I think you would have tried at least. Yes, yeah. Like you would have been interested in getting into that format, and like. Yeah, if I was, 5 to 10 years older too, I probably would have been trying to do that too, because like that kind of project kind of it hits my buttons mentally, basically. Like that would be a very satisfying project to get into, even if you ended up not having any circulation.
I honestly thought about doing an RSC Substack in a way.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Trying to do, like, we've tried to do a blog before, but like, how could we do this like in a different way and get to a larger audience?
Right.
Like, I've been like doing some flirting with that idea for like the last year or two. Like, my problem is time, not having it. Yeah. So
fire, burns, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where my head's been this week, and I've like been really nostalgic for something that I wasn't a part of. I guess that's what, like, yeah, it's kind of like people who.
There's a romanticism to it.
Romanticism. That's exactly where I was going to go. It's like people of the Old West or, the Middle Ages or the time of chivalry. For me, it's the zine era that I wasn't there for. Mm-hmm. But I am here for the Liokaiser Hasbro, whatever the hell it is. HasLab. That's what it is. We're at what? Over 16,000?
Yeah. Yeah, we have not actually made another 1,000 since last week's update, but we're over 16,000 now. That unlocks the electromagnetic nunchaku, and now we're just waiting for the slow crawl up to 18,000 for the display stands, which we'll get.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think there's been an international backer drop so far this week. I'm sure the next one of those will accelerate the numbers once again pretty well, but like. We have a little under 2 weeks left on the campaign, and I don't doubt that as we wind down to the final days of it, we're going to start seeing the numbers accelerate again.
Especially the final hours always
Yes.
have gigantic jumps.
Like I am still projecting that this will beat Deathsaurus. I think it will.
I'm going to say no.
I'm thinking somewhere around Deathsaurus numbers.
I think there's more interest in Liokaiser. I think Liokaiser has more name cachet.
Well,
And
it's
he's
not,
a combiner.
And he's a
People
combiner.
love combiners.
yeah, it's not just
Uh-huh.
that, but you also there may be more of a value proposition there because you are getting 7 robots now as the set
Mhm.
versus 3 with Deathsaurus or 2 with Victory Saber.
There's some like being a
I count
combiner.
them Micromaster.
There's something
I mean, technically,
quintessentially.
you're getting 14 with all the breast animals.
Oh yeah, there's like it's quintessentially or essentially Transformers. There's something to it. There's a quality to it that I think sets it apart from Deathsaurus, who's like a space chicken.
So, Mike, here's why it's cool is in the Discord right now, tfradio.net/Discord. I agree with his take on it.
Yeah.
It'll beat the Deathsaurus numbers, but it's not going to do Omega Prime numbers.
I'm not saying it's going to beat Omega Prime. I'm certainly
Yeah.
not saying that. But I think it will beat Deathsaurus.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I think it'll meet or beat Deathsaurus, but that's about it.
Yeah. So hey, so people are getting Omega Prime now.
Okay, so whatever retail partner in New Zealand was handling the pre-orders, the backing for that, like they've received the product and they've started shipping it out to those backers. So we have some legitimate in-hand photos from the last HasLab right now.
Don's getting on a plane right now.
You know,
So-
I have 3. I'm good.
No, you don't.
And
They're
within the
not
next
in your
month or
hand
so,
yet.
you'll probably start to receive them.
Right.
Yeah,
One by one.
probably.
I'm more thinking about our collector friends in the UK that have had some issues with the HasLabs. The orders were never sent in or something on who was it that
What?
the orders were
What are you talking about, Don?
one or two HasLabs ago. I think it was a Victory Saber once. I can't remember who, but there was a UK retailer that never sent in their orders, and so nobody in the UK got their order was put in.
I know that people in the UK got it.
Yeah,
And
but they had to
we
go
didn't
back
have
and
that
do
problem with
another.
Deathsaurus a year later.
Yeah. So like, I'm not calling BS because my memory doesn't go back that far.
I do remember what he's talking about. There were a lot of people who ordered Victory Saber that never.
Yeah, I certainly believe a lot, but like, I don't think it was everybody in the UK. It could
No,
have
I'm
been.
it
saying
wasn't.
those, not everybody, but I'm saying it was a fairly substantial amount of people
Okay.
because whoever
That I'll
took the
buy.
orders never transmitted them.
Yeah. So like, looking at the photos, I know Don's going to hate me for saying this, but I think I just want to keep it in the box. I don't know that I ever want to open it. I think the box looks better than the toy.
I hope everyone that ordered one enjoys it. Is what
Yeah.
I'll say.
I'm looking at these photos and I feel basically zero regret for not backing it. Like, used to, previously, the thing had been like, okay, I like the idea of weaponizer blue bolts. Seeing the actual produced thing in these photos, though, it's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm good.
It took me, what, 3 years to actually open and transform Unicron? And it took me like a year to open it. It took me like 3 years to transform it.
Uh-huh.
I don't, if I never open and transform this, I think I'm fine.
I mean, this is probably a more pleasant experience to open and transform than Unicron.
Yeah,
Like, Unicron's kind of a bad yardstick
But
for that.
Unicron's also so huge, it's overwhelming. It may not be enjoyable, but
He is
it's
a literal yardstick. So
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's overwhelming. It's so large that you don't get
Yeah.
that with these, and I don't know. And I don't have basically any nostalgia for the original toys. So yeah,
I have nostalgia for the original toys, but specifically the original toys that I own.
I mean,
And they're in a box somewhere, probably with ruined tires. But you know that just what happens.
I have the Optimus Prime, which is the one I wanted. So-
Right.
yeah. Not that like Don, I don't want to rain on your parade because I know you love them, but like I don't know. Now if they were in the what is it, Sam's Club or Costco version colors? Was it Costco?
Oh right.
yeah,
And
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
I would totally
Cos-
go for that.
I'm still mad that this has robbed me of my hopes of ever having a yellow splendid convoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Costco had the recolors of Armada, Optimus Prime, and Overload.
Yeah, I've got that. I got that for Christmas one year from my friend Jason. That was a great gift.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had to buy Splendid Convoy on the aftermarket for a much higher price.
Yeah, this one's robbed me of Splendid Yellow Convoy, and Liokaiser's robbing me of the Rescue Force.
Mhm.
Yeah, that pisses me off still.
And Don, what was the there was an animation-only recolor of Deathsaurus in one of the Brave
Redgeist.
shows.
Redgeist, yeah.
Yeah, we're
in-
being
in
robbed of
Brave.
Redgeist, which we wouldn't have gotten
Redgeist
anyway.
is
But
boring
Brave.
looking. Redgeist is boring looking.
and we
Well,
wouldn't have gotten
it's
it
more-
anyway because Redgeist is a Sunrise
Yeah.
character, and
Yeah.
Hasbro and Takara would not be able to make that the same way.
And he
now.
only came with one of the breast animals, so you would get basically a very basic version of the character. I'd be
Mhm.
nice to see, but
Yeah.
it's I'm not broken up about that.
Yeah, no.
Does anybody care about the Dramatic Capture Triple Takeover set?
It's
mean,
nice that
no.
they're all coming out. If there would be any kind of color differences or major,
Well, I mean, Astro Train doesn't have the siege scuff marks on it.
I thought, I'm
think,
sorry,
I think
thought it was
his
the
grays are
origin set.
lighter
I'm
too,
sorry.
right? He's
Yeah, I
more
think so.
animation colored.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Astro Train looks pretty good in this deco. The thing is, we're getting like a Studio Series 86 one or something in the next
Eventually.
Womp
12
yeah.
months or so.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant the origin set. I apologize. I was thinking the wrong one.
Yeah, no, that's why I said, in the show notes, Dramatic Capture Triple
Takeover.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
go ahead.
no, those still look great.
Yeah.
But for Astro Train, there's just too much surface detailing for me. It's too greebly. So
I've kind of felt that way about it too. Just
Everything from the Siege era was weird about that.
Yeah,
but Blitzwing doesn't look near as bad as
It's
again,
not.
No,
different
because he's
lines
not a
and-
siege toy.
I know.
No.
I'm just saying, Blitzwing kind of hits that nice middle of the ground where it's not quite tuned slavish, all smooth with no textures.
For the toy detectives, and my hunch is no. So adding the Don called it gribbly, like adding the extra like detail in the mold doesn't cost any more, right? Because
the only thing it would cost
Design.
more is in
Cutting
labor hours because of the CAD work needed to be done.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but when it comes to plastic, it's like
Yeah, not-
potentially less because you might be
once
using
the
less
molds
plastic.
once the molds are cut, no, there
Yeah,
shouldn't be any
so-
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're almost certainly doing CNC milling to make the molds now instead of having, a skilled craftsperson doing it. Well, not hammer and chisel like you were motioning for our podcast listeners, but there's the same kind of milling machines, but that are manually controlled. But like with the CNC milling, like it is literally just loading the program in. It might take longer to cut that mold by the computer with all the extra lines and details and bumps and stuff, but like for any practical application of cost, no, I think it would be negligible.
So they can.
Do you think that having a mold with less surface detail might lead to fewer molding errors? That's about the only place
Yeah.
I can think of that cost might be affected.
Maybe. I think though, like, the factories that do nothing but this injection molded plastics, the people that work there, the people that like I'll use the term fact check the mold plans before they get cut. They know what they're doing. They know what to look for there to be problems. That's why a fair few FunPub original head sculpts, for instance, turned out not quite as expected. Just for one case, because those were designed in completely different ways, and the factory basically had to clean up after them. So like, it would be a very complex design that would lead to like egregious molding errors where like the material doesn't fill all the way in because the passages are too small. Like they know how to design around that so that kind of thing is almost certainly not going to happen, or it's going to be an exceptional circumstance where it would, and it's not like an endemic fault of how the mold is made itself.
The thought that I'm trying to
Fair
complete is
enough.
the idea that if they add the extra detailing in the mold and it doesn't cost anymore, in a way you might consider it extra value.
Right.
Because-
Yeah. That's one way to look at it.
But it didn't work out that way.
I recall too, somewhere early in Siege when it was either in Siege or maybe early in Earthrise when we were having the regular live streams with the Transformers team at the time. Basically, they said, without using the words third party, they basically implied like they saw what people were liking about some, like the fandom was liking the extra levels of details on some kinds of products. They're being very careful not to like acknowledge that third party stuff exists, but basically the implication was that they were kind of taking inspiration from how some of that stuff was designed and assuming that like, okay, this is what the collectors actually want, so they like turned the detail knob up to 11. Obviously, that kind of got backed off of after Earthrise because like things kind of
Hooray.
calmed back down visually. Yeah, like they found a pretty happy balance, I think, after Earthrise, which we've
Yeah.
pretty well maintained. But yeah, Siege was definitely like they went a little bit too far. They hit that sharpen slider in Photoshop a little bit too far over to the right.
Yeah. Well,
Been there.
Don really wants doesn't want the Origins figures, but he kind of wants the Triple Takeover set. I think we learned that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, I mean, like, this is a nice looking set. The Origin set's a nice looking set, but like, unlike with the mainframe set that came out last, like, I don't personally feel any strong pull to even consider getting either one of these because like, there's not anything that special or again,
Significant.
like we know to expect Studio Series 86 Astro Train, and even if that's just a Springer job where they retool Siege Astro Train to a degree, like it's probably still going to be an improved product over actual Siege Astro Train with the scrapes taken off of it. So I would rather wait for that than go in on the triple takeover set with a Blitzwing that I don't like and a Starscream that I already have a copy of that has only left its box for about 15 minutes since I got it.
I really like the Starscream, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
I've
I
had
know.
enough
I
of
like
it.
the Earthrise Starscream mold. That whole mold family is great. But like I have Studio Series Starscream, which is the specific mold revision that is in this 3-pack. And again, that has spent about 15 minutes out of its original packaging since I bought it like 4 years ago.
Yeah. So we have photos of Walmart Cybertron Sideways and Exelion. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was a very thin week for news. So, as of the time we're recording, tomorrow is the start of Walmart Collectors Con for spring 2025. Very, very plausibly, these two figures and maybe more from this capsule will go up for pre-order. And I assume following that, we will start to get some behind the scenes posts from them from Mark or Evan on Instagram. And I'm really hoping to get some design background for the Sideways in particular. Like that's kind of the thing I've been waiting the most for out of this little reveal cycle here. Because like something has gone on to make this specific toy happen, and I want to know what those steps were. I want to know if this is
Copy,
Cosmos
paste,
again.
add ankle tilts.
Almost, yeah. But yeah, I want to know if this is Cosmos again, where it's they cheated the retool budget on some other toy, or if Takara is just like, okay, we'll pay, most of the bill for this, just we want to make the right Sideways and we're gonna let you throw it in your capsule line. Like I want to know what happened to make this Sideways that is not obviously a retool of any other existing toy in a store exclusive line.
I mean, the colors on that figure are pretty simple. I could absolutely see this being a Cosmos thing where they were able to get it out of fewer mold elements.
They can absolutely do what we see here on 3 tools, 2 ABS and 1 nylon. And either we have orange nylon and orange ABS, or we have a bunch of orange nylon and 2 black ABS sprues. Like the color breakdown of this is really simple. It's a ton of paint to get the color separation the way it is, but yeah, I don't see any reason this couldn't be a Cosmos or Override situation again.
That's a mold with a lot of repaint potential too.
Well, like 2. So like there was Universe 2008 Rat Bat, and in Japan there was the Noise Maze mass production type, which
If they want to go the BotCon route, you got Scourge and Sweeps too.
yeah, so I thought about that, but I also felt like we know that some of the the redecos they've done based on BotCon exclusives have not exactly been strong sellers. I bought most of them from Ross a year after they came out. And we haven't like had any like Fractal and Pack Rat, we knew at one time were being considered for Generation Selects or store exclusive or something like that. Those like never materialized in any form.
That hurts.
Probably,
that still hurts.
yeah, probably because some of the other BotCon inspired redecos just did not go the way they were hoping the sales would. And since there have been like, proper actual toys of Scourge and the Sweeps in the last couple of years, molds that they could rerun, reissue anytime they want to, theoretically, I find it it's a harder pitch to me, I think, to expect to see that done
I mean,
off of this mold.
the current Walmart capsule we have on the shelves right now, the Space Pirates is a BotCon reference, so like they're still up for making them apparently.
Yeah, it's a BotCon reference, but I don't think it's actually reproducing any BotCon toys.
I think that's right.
Well, it's all homages.
Yeah.
So like the set is in the theme of the Space Pirates, which BotCon ran with, which was itself originally an abandoned concept for Transformers Prime Season 3.
I know they had Cannonball in that set because I didn't buy the new one. I have the BotCon toy in my display.
That's right. But Cannonball had also been a retail exclusive toy before that. So it's not specifically a pitch forward of a BotCon redeco. Cannonball does kind of fit that, but like for the most part, the current capsule line at Walmart is it's a regurgitation of theme from a BotCon set, not necessarily remaking any of the specific toys except maybe Cannonball.
I realize it's that and not just like straight up Energon, Armada, Cybertron, like the Unicron trilogy. But like I'm just literally, while you guys have been talking, sitting here thinking about how I want an Energon Treadbolt or Armada Scavenger. I know we talked about it. I talked about it recently, but like I really personally want that. So like if I can turn that into like Don's Headmaster RC, I want to be the guy known for Energon Treadbolt. That's what I want to be.
Ferrac was also in that set.
Yeah, Wheeljack 64 and Blade Raider were both just pointing that out in the Discord. I was gonna mention that on their behalf.
Ferrac was a Fun Pub original. I didn't remember that. I was thinking that.
Yeah, he was off the Universe Cyclonus mold.
I thought what was the Million Publishing toy?
Strafe. Credit card Strafe.
Strafe. That's it. Okay, that's. I was confusing the two.
Yeah, so like they took the name Ferric from the comics, but they basically made up the deco for the Cyclonus mold for that, and then that got passed forward. So yeah, there is Ferric, and that's ironically, well, you know what? That actually kind of goes to prove my previous point, though, because you could get Ferric for $12 after not very long.
Yeah. Well, great toy.
They have gone with. That's because the capsules for Walmart only include one Voyager per case.
Yeah.
So
but that hit clearance really fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was also that time of year, like
it was
everything always clearances around the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it's store by store too, because they're still full price on my shelves.
Yeah, but I mean you could get them on Walmart.com for $12 to $14 for quite a while.
Yeah.
Did we know that Hasbro was going to reissue Nova Prime and Nacelle?
Well, we did yesterday when they announced it.
Yesterday?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise to me. Nova Prime I get because the aftermarket.
The aftermarket on that went pretty high.
Is
Nacelle, I assume with Nacelle it's just because so many of the original run came with mold.
Oh
yeah.
It was also out of the same capsule, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
So
I got moldy Nacelle.
Yeah, I had sold my Nova. You did get a moldy Nacelle, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. I don't think mine had any. I sold my Nova.
I didn't get it because I refused to buy that Seeker mold anymore.
Well, and I didn't get it because the nacelle I want is a thrust recolor, not a Seeker recolor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the colors on it are beautiful. I hate that they put it on that mold because, like, they did the deco right, but on the wrong mold.
Technically, it should be the thrust mold, but not a cone head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So I'd been thinking lately about Nova Prime because Matt had talked about how much he loves it, and I mentioned that I'd sold mine at a slight profit, not at a high profit, at a slight profit. And I'm like, man, I kind of want to pre-buy that because I kind of felt bad about doing it, and I was pricing it out. And it was like $150, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't like it that much. It was a lot. So yeah, I saw this pop up. I hit order. Now I'm getting another one at cost, and I'm happy about that.
And I think the DNA Designs upgrade kit for Nova Prime is also still available.
Yeah, it is.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
it is. I saw it.
I know that's probably not in Brian's wheelhouse, but like, for other people who didn't get Nova the first time around, it'd be a good chance to potentially pick up both. Because like Nova's a good redeco, it's a good retool. It makes sense to have run that on the toy that they did. Honestly, though, the wings are kind of lacking compared to how Nova was depicted in IDW, and the DNA kit does as much as it can to kind of help resolve that.
Yeah. So
about the price of the toy again. Anyway, yes, Brian.
Is it telling that this and some of the other recent reissues didn't make the leak lists, or is that something we should just expect?
I guess without knowing the channels that the leak information comes down through, if the leak information is sourcing back to like development or factory level in some way, the reissues wouldn't necessarily be from that information source. The reissues would be like
new data.
The marketing department would be, talking to the retailers about like, okay, do you guys want to take this on? And then once that's set up, then they're talking about then they get with the factories to get those reissues done. But like when the retailers agree, that's when the pre-orders kind of go up.
Yeah.
That's why the reissues usually are like 6 to 8 months out from when they're announced to when they're expected to ship, because that's your production and ocean cargo turnaround time.
I'm not good at keeping track of things anymore. Is it just basically the case at this point that if something needs reissued and it was in a capsule line, it ends up as in the new assortments, but if it wasn't, it just gets reissued now?
Okay, can you phrase that in the form of a question? No, I'm not exactly sure. Can you try that again? I'm having trouble following the premise of the question. I'm sorry.
Okay, the premise of the question is we're getting things like Galaxy Shuttle and things like that as like new assortments.
Yes.
In because they were part of, the Walmart capsule line or some other exclusive.
Yeah.
With stuff that wasn't part of those, are we just getting reissues for most of those?
Like Fortress Maximus.
Yeah, the older Titans, the Nova Prime and Nacelle, things like that.
They were Amazon.
Like, yeah, is there like a specific divide here? Like, if nobody else had the rights to sell it, we can just put it out in the original.
There's an exclusivity period, I thought, in most cases.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. It's like, yeah, they
yeah, this seems to have gone to multiple online retailers this time.
So what I would suspect here, for any kind of the reissues, they probably are talking to their retailers, both in terms of like, is this something that you would be willing to have in the regular assortment if we just folded that in? If no, then you start trying to shop it around as an exclusive. But if they do take it, then of course you're going to want to update that trade dress, your packaging style, to be consistent with the rest of that assortment. So, Galaxy Shuttle ends up in Legacy packaging. Crasher ends up in Age of the Prime packaging because that's where those fell. Nova Prime and Nacelle are going to online retailers, so for that it doesn't really matter what packaging style they're in. So like, as long as there's not something in their agreement with Amazon that they can't do a direct duplicate of the packaging from those original toys once the exclusivity is over with, like those, they can just rerun those as is if that's what they want to do.
Okay.
That's
now
my
that
interpretation of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, now that we're down a wave a year too, they only have so much room
to
put these things in a regular wave. And other than that, then they have to, like, do it as a store exclusive or a retailer exclusive or online only or something like that.
Yeah, and I think, like, this is my own speculation. I think dropping a regular retail wave per year, I think that's probably trying to turn a push to more direct to consumer marketing with the toys and not relying so much on your Walmarts and Targets to get the whole line out. So, this is probably a step one where, yeah, they're going to keep a shelf presence because that's how the stuff stays visible to the general consumer. But they're also counting on, like, there's enough of us, and, we spread word through the forums and our podcast and everything about the stuff. They can do the online retailer pushes for stuff like reissues and probably eventually, original product a little bit more too, to make up for that not as much stuff in the store per year. That's my speculation on it. That's how it feels to me looking at what's going on.
It makes sense. It really does, with everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. You want to jump to what we got this week?
I sure do.
Who wants to go first?
I sure do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I got the 2 Walmart Deluxe Retro Transformers. So I got Gears and Bumblebee. Bumblebee is the Netflix Volkswagen mold. They licensed that again for another year, so we've got that back out in circulation. And this time it's in the yellow that I wanted it to be in when it was the Netflix version. Very toy and cartoon looking shade of yellow. The Netflix one had a ton of paint on the car body panels because they wanted to have clear windows. So like a bunch of that was molded in a bunch of it was molded in clear blue, but also the way it was designed, it seemed to have some insert pieces so that the divisions weren't quite so they didn't need quite so much paint coverage on it. But like this is molded all in opaque yellow plastic, and then the windows are all painted on in black. So like they're definitely hitting the G1 toy look with the black windows like that, and the color consistency on the yellow parts is perfect. They did really good on the Netflix one. I don't want to like mislead there. Like the more golden yellow color that was very consistent across it, but there was some areas, especially where that paint went over the blue, where like yeah, the one color was tinting the other and it didn't look quite right. This looks basically bang on perfect color wise. I would say like if the realistic Volkswagen alt mode is what you want, this is the Bumblebee toy to get. And being a Walmart exclusive, probably coming in solid pack cases, both of Bumblebee and Gears, it's not going to be hard to get this like the Netflix Bumblebee was at the time. So like if Studio Series doesn't quite do it for you, if the Netflix one's colors weren't quite right for you, or you didn't want to pay the exorbitant aftermarket on that for the longest time, like it's really great to have this out in these colors. I'm pretty happy with it. The only thing I really would have wanted different is for them to not use the cartoon-based head on this. Like I understand a new retool head probably wasn't going to fit in the budget, but honestly, like just to represent the ideas and shapes of the original toy head, the gold bug head that they have for this mold family probably would have been close enough with the right deco on it. But like at the same time, I can kind of understand them wanting to lean into the cartoon appearance for Bumblebee because like that's just how Bumblebee is presented now. The toy head is not really Bumblebee anymore, unfortunately. Except that is what's represented on the package art because they just straight up reused the G1 package art. So there you go. But like it comes with all the same stuff that the previous release of it did, so you're not losing out on anything. And yeah, the deco is really nice. They decoed the robot head kind of like it was the toy head. They made the eyes silver, the same as the faceplate. So like if that bugs you, you might need to like get a little bit of get like a fine tip blue Gundam marker or something and just go in over those eyes and pick those out. But like, yeah, for the most part, there's not anything to complain about here. They even put the little like turbine sticker that was on the back of the G1 toy on the back of the head panel. They tampoed that on over where the license plate would have been on this Bumblebee. So like even that's there. I transformed this during pre-show and like everything moves and fits pretty well, but like I think the vehicle mode's a little bit gappier than the Netflix release of it. Like the panels don't quite want to flush up the same way. Like it's not bad. There's not like huge gaps or anything. It just doesn't quite feel like it's seating in as well as the last release of it did. Gears is a little thing of joy, which, this mold always is to me. This is one of my favorite molds. I'm so happy that when I do the RFC awards for 2025, when I set the ballot up, Gears gets to be on it for a second year in a row. It's going to get my best of something for this year. I just haven't decided what yet. I'll make up a category for it later.
Well, we were talking pre-show. Spoiler alert. Probably unless they do something really unique with the packaging, that's maybe not HasLab, keeping it out of the running. This could be packaging of the year because it's crisp, it's bold. The cardstock is thick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a glorious little throwback to the days of yore.
So okay, with the packaging on this, the Headmasters classic packaging a couple of years ago didn't do a whole lot for me. So why does this?
Well, see, but that's it.
For one, it's a card back.
Did for me.
It's a card is one. It's the right logo too. The card is extremely thick. Is probably part of it. It just rings. It doesn't ring true. It feels right where that didn't.
Yeah, it's using all the like you said, it's using all the right fonts and art styles and trade dress for the era it is trying to evoke without, basically doing a reproduction of a package that never actually existed, which still drives me insane.
Yeah.
You're never going to let that one go.
No, never.
So Gears is in a little bit lighter blue, which I love the shade of blue. So I think this is mostly only going to help Rob, I think, for this comparison. Like, this is almost Goof Custom Blue, where regular Gears is just basic Goof Blue.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
And like, it's really pretty looking. The tone of the red is shifted similarly. And like, I'd say it's very strongly consistent with a G1 Gears toy. Like, they hit that really well too. They painted on the M on the hood, and a really cool thing is they kind of leaned into how Gears, the head is the hood of the truck. So the M on the back of the robot head has always been there. But like, you kind of notice it more because the M is painted on the hood. But on the top of the robot head, there is truck grill detailing, and they actually painted that silver on this one. That wasn't there. That paint wasn't there on the original release. And the faceplate sculpt for the head, it fits perfectly onto the big like cheese wedge thing they got going here. Like, it fills that space in just the right way. Last year's Gears, the robot face was sculpted really well, but it always struck me as being a little bit wide in the space that it was existing in. Like, it didn't quite fit the right way for my taste. And this just looks right to me. Like, it's clicking for me in a way that the original didn't for that one specific part. And then the chest plate, they've also changed the paint layout on that too to be more accurate to the toy. So there's the yellow chevron with the silver border around it, the Autobot logo underneath it. Like, just it's little changes to the paint deco on this, the paint applications and the layouts, but like, it makes a real meaningful difference to the way the toy reads. And it feels a lot like this toy was made to have the G1 toy deco on it more than it was to have the cartoons appearance put on it, if that makes sense. Like, this just reads as the correct way for this specific toy to exist, and I'm super, super happy with how this turned out. Like, Retro Gears was the thing from this wave that I actually cared about. I just got Bumblebee because, like, it's the Netflix version of that mold, which I like the best of the modern Bumblebees in the color I wanted. But like, if I never got that, I wouldn't have minded that much. This Gears, I had to have this, and like, it perfectly lived up to what I wanted out of it in hand. Yep. And like Don and Brian were talking about, the packaging for both of these is wonderful. I'm super happy with this. The only complaint I have with it is I wish they would have designed it to be more of a collector friendly style where you could like slide the bubble out or something and put it back. Like it would be resealable without you could get the toys out without destroying the packaging in the process. Because like
it's the buy two edition.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Except like if I want to have the gears of the wall hanger, it's packaged with the chest plate not installed. So like even that's not perfect. Like what I want is to be able to open the packaging for gears, get the chest plate out, pop that on, put it all back in the package and slide it on there and be able to hang that on the wall or something to display in the package.
I wish you hadn't mentioned that.
Well, it's my job to mention.
Literally didn't notice it. Yeah.
And like Bumblebee would be probably a good option too to have as a wall hanger if you just want something to like reflect the retro packaging. I think like that's less visibly immediately flawed than Gears not having the chest plate on in the package. But again, like I would love the option to have been able to open these non-destructively and put them back together in their original presentation for display that way. But like otherwise, that's really the only thing I have to complain about at all with these two toys. And like, I'm very, very looking forward to the Brawn and Sea Spray that we had turn up in listings as Wave 2 of this. Especially Sea Spray, because I don't know if they're going to like pull a Cosmos Sideways out of that and make that from something in 3 molds or what's going on there. But yeah, this turned out really well. That's all I got this week.
It's great. So let's Diecast. What'd you get this week?
I got the upgrade kit for that Nova Prime. I also got Wing Saber from Fans Hobby, the third party. And then as far as Transformers, I think that's it.
Well, that was a lot. Don.
Oh, I got the Bingo Toys Optimus Prime as well, too.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
That's the Corvette that we were complaining about. The great.
Oh, that Don.
Oh yeah, the Bingo Sports one.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Don, what'd you get besides Gears? Just Gears.
That's all I got on topic this week.
Matt, what'd you get?
Well, behold, Brian, I now possess that which you most fear.
Yes! Oh, you got a Matrix.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you, Dawn, for putting that link up whenever it came back in stock on Amazon.
I was looking at my browsing history and it came back in. I've had it on there since what, October?
Yeah, I still don't have it. Yeah.
Dawn sent out a mass text.
I saw it.
Maybe check your messages.
I saw it, and it was gone by the time I got there.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't get it is I've got the Diamond Select, the Matrix that lights up, the little statuette one with the key to Vector Sigma. That's the battery thing activator in the back. Yeah. So I really didn't need that one, but I knew y'all were looking for them.
For the podcast, it's the Matrix of Leadership, the
costume one,
the Halloween costume one from this past year that was impossible to find in some places.
Yeah, still is.
It lights up. It doesn't do anything other than that, but it's nice. I'm happy to have it.
Yeah. John, what'd you get?
I didn't get a thing.
Rob?
Nothing on topic.
So for me, I got a couple things. Gears, of course. I did mention that. I had mentioned last week how I had ordered something from a new Transformers dealer that I was not familiar with. And I would talk about it when I got it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, turns out they ship via FedEx. So even though it shipped second day, I still don't have it. Yeah, so it was supposed to have been here Friday. We record on Wednesday, and it's not here. Though it was an hour away from me Friday like 6 a.m. Just isn't here. So
that's a FedEx thing.
That's a FedEx thing. FedEx, FedEx and I, we go way back. Something that was shipped USPS. United States Postal Service, though. Like in pre-show toward the end, I was talking about things that have some scarcity to them that are harder to get a hold of or more limited. Mm-hmm. And something I had talked about recently to these guys, years ago, like a grail for me was the super hybrid model kit of Galvatron from BotCon 97. They're limited to 800 pieces. And I always wanted it, and I got it like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just something that I love. And I happened to be looking at eBay last week, and the lava version that's limited to 100 pieces was available. So I got the lava version, which is an orange Galvatron. And again, limited to 100 pieces. Each number one is serial numbered. This one from BotCon 97 is number 97 of 100. So
BotCon Japan 97.
BotCon Japan 97, yeah. So there are 3 versions of that toy. There's the original version, then the lava version, then the promoter of BotCon Japan had posted on their website a more anime accurate color scheme with a painted barrel that came up later. And I'll be honest with you, my other Galvatron, I have no idea which version it is. It's buried, and I never noted which one it is. So it's possible that I could end up getting all 3. So I don't think that there's a lot of scarcity around the other version. So whether I have the serial numbered version or the other one, I realistically could probably wind up with all 3. And again, like the 1990s version of Brian is like weeping with joy right now. But
right.
The 45-year-old Brian is dead inside, but like it is something that was pretty cool.
But like I still remember one of our longtime IRC friends was, I don't want to say obsessed. There's a negative connotation with that, but like it was his life's mission at one point to get that lava bath super hybrid model Galvatron.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did too. After
he paid
a
less
of years.
for it because that was 20 years ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, yeah, he definitely got one before like too much time had passed. But yeah, like this does bring back some old memories of that stuff. So.
Yeah,
that's really cool, though.
Yeah, it's not often that you get something that's that old.
Yeah,
that is that limited.
Limited, yeah.
Yeah, and if you do, it's usually a very early BotCon.
Yeah,
toy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I got this week. Hopefully, I'll have the other thing from FedEx next week.
Hope so.
Yeah, hopefully. Ham sandwiches. This week, I got nothing. I don't think I got a thing.
I got nothing as well.
Oh, proactively telling me. Good. Diecast. What have you?
Yeah, I got the Make Toys Voltron, which is Action Toys Voltron.
Oh, the mini one?
It's not mini. That was the
Vehicle Voltron.
The Vehicle Force. I got the Lion Force Voltron, which just
he got
came
the real
out.
Voltron,
the right Voltron.
He got the boring one.
Action Toys did Lion Force?
Yeah.
But wasn't it super deformed?
No.
Oh, okay.
It just came out. It was like $220.
Yeah, that's the first time hearing of it.
Yeah, it's on Big Bad Toy Store and all those others.
I'm not going to buy one, but I'm interested in looking. So did you open it and mess with it any, or did you have to leave?
No, unfortunately, it came right as, I really didn't have time in between plane trips to Milwaukee. So, but yeah, I think that's all I got third-party wise.
Donald?
Yeah, I got a couple things. I had to order Hank some lysine and to put me over the thing for 6 months.
You have a lysine deficiency?
Yeah. So we have to add unflavored powder to his wet food, just to help him. And
why wouldn't they make the powder flavored?
Well, it says it's flavored. It says it's salmon flavored, but
salmon
salad.
I say it with I say it with the L. I know it's wrong. It's my choice. But no, it's flavored.
Do you need to feed him the lysine? Because life finds a way, Don.
Well, yes, we do. Because when we found Hank on the sidewalk of my doctor's office when I went for
it was a Jurassic Park joke, Don.
I know. I'm just saying his eyes were matted shut, and he needs a lysine to keep his vision clear. So, in other words, I got a tfradio.net/Amazon. I got a $20 Super 7 bat.
Neat.
Okay.
So I figured for $20, it's worth having one more bat to flesh out my.
I forgot this was supposed to be about what toy Don got and not what food additive for his cat he got.
That was a hell of a build-up for just the biggest anticlimax.
I mean, we kind of helped.
Yeah.
Staying on the military theme, I just got these today. Valaverse released some more of their basic $20 GI Joe equivalent figures. So I got 2 of the maritime officers because they come with swappable faces and hands, obviously. So that way I can give Shipwreck some backup if he has to board, if he needs a boarding party. So it's nice getting some more some naval themed characters to put with Shipwreck. And even at their $20 price point, I mean, you get multiple hands, extra face. You only get one gun, and you get a stand. So I mean, it's
the right
real
gun.
good.
You only need one.
Well, yeah. Well, 2, and then swap out the parts, and then sell the parts you don't need to get some of your money back.
Don, how are they compared to GI Joes?
Well, I haven't had any issues yet.
Okay,
but I have heard of people taking them out of the packaging and starting to try to do everything with them, and like you need to kind of let them acclimate to room temperature if they've been outside, especially during the winter, things like that. But with any other figure, you're going to want to pose it.
Oh, or just adding new fish to an aquarium.
Yeah, well, it's just you want to start moving the joints carefully to make sure everything's working right.
Just like adding new fish to an aquarium.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember last week I mentioned I got Guy Gardner. Well, I got Guy Gardner again this week, but it's the chase version when he's wearing the black jacket when he's using Sinestro's ring. So I was able to get the chase version. Just walked in today, and it was just sitting there on the shelf at Walmart. The chase version.
I want you to get a Guy Gardner and a Gal Gaigar in the same week just to hear you try to pronounce it all at once.
Gal Gardner.
Yeah.
Gal Guy Gardner.
Oh, God.
Why not to come up in ham sandwiches that needs to be the episode title?
I
know. And the last 2 things I got, I'm going to apologize to you, Rob. I found them first thing this morning when I went down to my orthopedic doctor's visit. Mm-hmm. Checked every Walmart since then. Could not find one for you, but I will keep my eyes out. Now I know that they're out. I picked up the Ultra Beast Were Dragon. And I got Rue.
All right. Nice find.
Yeah. So I apologize, Rob. I was trying to find you at least an extra one of each, but I will keep my eyes out. I have no connection to Rue, but he's a boxing kangaroo. He will go on my Jada shelf just for awesomeness. And
wait, is this Gru the Wanderer? What are we talking about?
No,
we're just talking about Rue from Streets of Rage 3.
Oh, yes. I thought I was talking about the Sergio Aragonés character.
No Gru figure that I know of.
Okay.
But it's a boxing kangaroo that has a fireball effect, so why not? And then anything Altered Beast is by default automatically cool.
Those Jax figures are so good. I do not. I'm hoping they're making more of them. I didn't hear anything out of Toy Fair, but who knows?
29 points of articulation on him, and 24 on Rue.
And they were $10 each?
Yeah.
So again, MRP 73 says Valaverse can of spinach.
Okay.
And then Python Patroller, aka Don Jr., says, so that's what Rue from Winnie the Pooh is doing now. tfradio.net/Discord.
Yes.
And that's all I got off topic.
Okay, John, did you get anything?
Nope, not this week.
Rob?
How can we top that anyway?
Yeah.
Okay. I did get a fair amount of stuff. Also, just for the record, Rue's name in Japan, I believe, was Victi, which doesn't make any sense, but is a little bit less generic and Winnie the Pooh related. Okay, so first off, Crunchyroll was having a warehouse sale, basically trying to get rid of all the stuff they inherited from Right Stuff when they, engulfed and devoured. And I got a couple of the Usagi Yojimbo Saga paperbacks for $12.50 each. That comic is absolutely fantastic. It's I got all of those out of the library about 5-6 years ago and loved them, and I am happy to finally have like about half of them in my library now. They also had the one of the Elden Ring art books, which I got, and there's some really gorgeous concept art in there. It's like, what if some of the most beautiful and or grotesque Renaissance paintings you ever saw, were alive and wanted to murder you, is what that game breaks down to. That's what I got from Crunchyroll. From Surugaya, I got quite a few things. Before the Red Rick DS that Chris was talking about last week showed up on Amazon, Surugaya was having a 20% off action figures sale. Only things like specifically in the figures category. So most of the Transformer stuff falls under toys for children, so it was not applicable.
That was frustrating.
Yeah, but the Rick DS was a little bit more than Amazon's charging for the red one, but I kind of always like the Black Deco. Everything Chris said was about that toy is correct. It is spectacular. Just the anime figures are so damn good, and I hope I can find the upcoming Kyakushiki on discount, because
please find 2.
I will if that turns up with a coupon on Amazon, and it doesn't show up for you, just let me know, and you can pay me back on that one. That'll be fine. Okay. Great figure, beautiful figure. I am really happy with it. I also got probably the last 2 of the Anime Gear candy toy kits I was looking at. I got the Penguin and the Triceratops. Both of those, the ones I haven't gotten yet are like all the various humanoid figures. I may change my mind and go after those, but all the Zoidius stuff I have now picked up from that line for fairly cheap. Built a couple of them. They're really, really nice. They are like just kind of the midpoint between Zoids blocks and some of the larger modular Bandai model kits. They're really nice little toys. I also got a kind of an interesting thing. It's basically the missing link equivalent of a muscle figure. Muscle.
I'm interested.
Okay, so
I'm fascinated.
Okay, so yeah, just quick nerd preamble.
Quick background, yeah.
Yeah, background. In Japan, Muscle was known as Kinnikuman. It's a manga about wrestling, and these were the figures. The Keshi format is basically where we got the Transformers decoys as well. They're a fairly common like cheap toy type in Japan, especially for that era. So sadly, what I was kind of expecting and hoping was that this would be just a little rubber figure with joints stuck in it. I have seen things of that nature before that kind of worked relatively well. No, this is a little model kit that makes a like 2-inch tall minifigure with like 20 points of articulation.
Wow.
It has the like hinge shoulder joints that let you like pull the whole arm forward.
Yeah.
It's got those.
Wow.
Yeah. And in terms of the construction, the only thing I'm really not big on is the fact that the head is, the head does have a ball joint, but because Kinnikuman does not have a lot of neck, it is just you can't, and because he has that big Ultraman style mohawk crest, you can't turn that. It just pops off. The reason it's a separate piece, they're like, if you get the whole assortment, there are option parts that allow you to like get more extreme poses, pull the neck forward, bend the weight, crunch the abs more, like just basically pieces you stack in so that you can put it in more elaborate wrestling poses if you want. I have no real connection to Kinnikuman beyond, Ultimate Muscle and the character Dick Van Dyke, who, wants to rule the world as a Dick Dictator.
Yeah.
Also possible episode title if this wasn't pre-show. I mean, ham sandwiches.
But yeah, I did get a figure of that too. They made like 1/18 scale figures of those that I grabbed ages ago.
I would revolt if you tried to title it anything but Galgai Gardner if they had been eligible.
I know, right?
Yeah, that is definitely the better one. But it cost me like $8-9 for that. It's a pretty fantastic little figure. It's just such a weird thing to have. Just one of what looks like one of those little Keshi figures, but with a ton of articulation. I'm pretty happy with it.
So before you go on to the next thing, Rob, Blade just brought up an old memory. Anyone remember that time Microman made Godzilla and they were literally rubber suits over those very brittle early 00's Micromen? You had one of those, didn't you?
I did. I think I still have it here somewhere, but since it's a 20-year-old piece of rubber, I am kind of afraid to look at it.
It's also a 20-year-old early 2000s Microman, so I'd be afraid to look at that too.
Yeah, like
double whammy there.
Yeah, just the transitive nature of art in one action figure. Thank you. Yes. But and the last thing I got was the high grade G-Quux that just showed up today. I am looking forward to putting it together. It is such a weird design for a Gundam. Well, it's basically an Evangelion with a really weird V-fin is what it comes down to. But yes, I got the G-Quax. I'm going to put it together. I'm looking forward to that. And that is everything I got this week.
Chris?
No.
So I just want to say in pre-show,
thank you though.
I'm pretty sure in pre-show, he was talking about how Don doesn't remember what. We were talking about the Four Horsemen thing that I couldn't remember at all, and how Don can't remember stuff, and how I can't remember things that I actually own. So, like when you guys are talking about ham sandwiches, that's my eBay browsing time each week. So I came across something that I'm like, I want this. And it was like the right price. It was something that I wanted that I didn't have in my collection. And before I committed, I'm like, wait, didn't I get this 2 months ago? Fortunately, I have everything in my email and I got it 2 months ago. So I stopped myself from making a stupid purchase. But in our internal chat, I did share, and I'm not doing this, because last week in our chat, I shared this Galvatron. I'm like, oh, I'd really love to have this. And I bought it like half an hour later. I put something in our chat, which I'm not going to buy. It's a mint on sealed card, Omega Supreme. There's no way on earth I'm going to spend that much money on it.
Yeah, it's a sealed Action Master Elite. Don
just saw the price and he's choking to death.
Yeah, that's
true.
It's
about $2,100.
Yeah, but like if I got it, I would get that graded, and it would like be above my mantle.
Yeah,
but I did just find something that I'm thinking about.
What was the thing that you bought 2 months ago that you found and couldn't remember you bought 2 months ago?
Well, if I tell you that, it might tell you what I'm looking at right now.
Okay, well then put in our internal chat or something when we're done. I'm just curious what you almost rebought.
Okay, hold up.
I can't even use PayPal. So paying $6 for that.
Well, no, but if you pay it off in 6 months, it's no interest.
Yeah, we just spent $500 today to get Hank all checked out and all his lab work and everything. So
I'll just say it here. I bought a mint and sealed box G1 Rotor Storm a few months ago, and I just came across a really nice boxed opened one that was just a little bit less, and I'm like, ooh, that looks great, forgetting that I have it. There's something else.
There's the one you have sealed.
The one I have is sealed, yeah.
Well, that's just this one is open. You can take this one out.
But that's true. I have like 3 Rotor Storms. I don't need to take it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh. Yeah. That says, can't wait to find out Brian bought a Guard City 22 years ago.
I wish. Yeah. I could have afforded it that way.
In one sense, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I'm tempted about this thing. Like I don't know if I'm getting a tax refund or not, but if I'm getting a tax refund, I might get this. Yeah, hopefully it'd be nice. I added to my list, hoping that they send me like a preemptive like discount. Mm-hmm. It'll be hard to say no. Okay. Let's jump to our Patreon plug. I want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/tfradio. Patrons get an ad-free version of the show. They get it the day before the public posting of RFC. It comes at a higher bit rate. Complete what we got this week segment. This week, if we could have shown the public the off-topic section, the episode title would be Galgai Gardner, but we can't. Damn. So
Well, it's your show, Brian. You can do whatever you want to.
I've got to follow the rules, Don. I have to follow the rules.
Otherwise, there would be anarchy. It would be like superhero time all over again.
Exactly.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yep. You get the weekly Patreon exclusive pre-show podcast. If they're heavy edits, we will have the unedited version on Patreon. You get a red or a purple color if you're connected to the Discord. There Goes My Money a week early. Patrons touch tier get to be on There Goes My Money. And also you're listed at tfradio.net/credits and get to be mentioned once a week, and I'll do that now. Kevin Dorsey, Daniel Scott, Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Bratton, Emmett Stresovich, Hector Bones, Jay Klein Rye, Joey Russell, Here's Why It's Cool, Rabbits, Ryan Bona, Sean Hamilton, Sean Williamson, Spider Bob, Trickster, Nathan's Fast Talk Food Reviews, and Mollusk Koenig. Thank you all so much. And again, if you want to be listed with these esteemed folks, go to patreon.com/tfradio. Rob Springer, not here, but he did influence me with the zine stuff this past weekend, so he has caused me to burn up a lot of time. Thanks, Rob. You can find him at RoboRobSpringer on Twitter, at zonebase.bsky.social, and at zonebase.org. You can find all of our stuff at tfradio.net going back too many years. I am personally at briankilby.com and at kilby.bsky.social. Diecast, how do people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Diecast2. They can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast. They can see my reviews at tfradio.net/reviews or youtube.com/RFC-reviews. And I also have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/diecast list.
Very cool. Don.
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR. I can be reached on Blue Sky at HMRC, the number 4 EVR.bluesky.social. I can also be found on YouTube. Plasticon Studios has started a new podcast with myself, Plasticon, Megamus, and Sideburn. We had a really great discussion last Sunday about the upcoming convention season, hygiene, grooming, just typical stuff. Also, a lot of the talk about the dealer room. I talked about looking at it from a buyer point of view, tricks and tips that I've learned through the years that help you get the best deal and have the best experience in the dealer room. Megan has talked about, as a dealer, what they go through and trying to make sure that it's a pleasant experience had by everyone, because you don't want to be that dealer that makes someone not want to go back. You don't want to be the customer that makes a dealer like, I don't want to deal with those kind of people. So it's a great discussion. Check us out at Plasticon Studios, the Plasticast, and take a listen. Tell us what you think.
Cool. Matt.
Melvar.bscott.social. 3 L's, 2 R's.
Excellent. John.
That John D everywhere except on eBay or it's Cloudburst.
Any cool eBay items up that you've posted recently?
Not yet. No, I'm still... I haven't had time to go through boxes, but I'll let you guys know.
Cool. Rob?
I am on Blue Sky at robflails.bsky.social. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/@flailthroughs. I cover Gundam games, Gundam Battle Operation 2 primarily. This week we are getting the Gundam F90 and F91. That's going to be interesting because like all the high cost stuff up to now has been from an era where the mobile suits were incredibly big, and F91 is one of the shortest there is. So that is going to be hilarious. If you like what I'm doing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs, you can contribute to the channel. You can make requests. The details are all there. And I also have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/playlist.
Chris?
Rob, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Don.
The F91, Rob, is the one from
F91.
The paint that split into 3 different versions. They were holograms with mass.
After images with mass, specifically, yes.
Okay.
That is the Gundam one of the Gundam F91's gimmicks. That is going to be expressed in the game as there being basically a small amount of delay in where it is indicated on your radar. So they have found a way how to officially implement and weaponize the game's lag. That's going to be fun.
Chris?
Thank you.
I'm online at playwithphotography.com. That's my website. I haven't updated in a while, but there's a lot of toy photos there that I still think are worth checking out from, Transformers toy lines of years past and a few random smatterings of other things. I wrote some articles for the website too. That stuff. I've reread through some of that in the last few months, and yeah, I think that stuff still holds up. It's still pretty good. So go check that out if you haven't been to the site before. You can find me on social media, theoretically on Blue Sky at ChrisRTXV. I have not been using it a ton lately, but I do, pop in there to check my notifications every so often. So, if you want to reach out, I will see the message eventually. It's nothing personal if I don't respond particularly promptly. I'm just not using social media all that much at the moment. But you can definitely find me in our Discord, tfradio.net/Discord. I'm they're keeping an eye on things all the time. We've got great community people. I love hanging out with them and chatting with them throughout the week. And of course, if you're here with us on Wednesday nights, US time, we do try our best to interact with our live audience on the Discord server during the showtime. So that's a lot of fun for everybody. And otherwise, I have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/ChrisList in case you just want to do a random act of material kindness at me. And thank you very much.
Very cool. We will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Recording stopped.
Okay. I'm clearing out my eBay watch list. I'm just going to that Hebrew Rebirth is still up there.
I'm not really surprised, honestly.
Me neither. Let's see here.
That's an interesting oddity, but I can't imagine there's a huge market for that.
Ooh, the Metro Titan reissue.
Brian, I think you are the market for that,
probably.
Honestly.
Hey, people watching live, we'll see you next week. Goodbye,
good night, everybody.
Twitch. And in a second, so it takes longer for you, YouTube, but I'll say goodbye to you as well.
How much does the Metro Titan air quotes reissue go for nowadays?
$55.
I got one a little bit. I got one for a little bit less than that secondhand off of Reddit a couple